Okay.
Well, yeah, and the kids are acclimated, you know, it's just hard to get, especially high school.
Let's stand and do the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I don't know if the road foreman is coming. No public discussion. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes dated September 5? Wyatt, second by Stecker. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimous. Should we go right to the monthly update with the Regional Health Center?
We'd be happy to. Like,
Good.
walk us through the financials.
Yeah, so we ended our year on June 30th. We had the audit about a month ago now, so hoping to get that done and out the door here at the end of the month. So still looking at pre-audit numbers, but don't expect a huge lot of change. So we ended the fiscal year with an operating margin of 6.25%. Debt coverage ended that at 6.24. So looked good for the year. Our inpatient and ER numbers were the highs that they've been in at least the last 8 years. So we would presume that that's ever, but that's as far as our data goes of that. We normally sit around 115 to 120 births for the year, but this past year we ended at 137, so that was great to see. We do have a scorecard with goals that our staff need to achieve for the year, and we did meet that. So we will pay out a bonus to our staff this next coming year for that. Starting out in July sees a loss most years, just with most of our doctors taking PTO during that month. So that's kind of an anomaly, and we really wouldn't expect every month to be like that. We did across the board a adjustment for our staff here in July, and then we do a market adjustment for our staff in January as well, if the market does show an increase, which in the past 3 years it does. So just looking at the year, obviously salary and benefits is something that we expect to continue to go up to remain competitive. I'm sure that you guys deal with that same thing. Some open jobs that we have, looking for 2 x-ray techs. We're looking for a nurse on 3rd floor, some medical assistants in our clinic, and a lab tech. So I think those are the main ones that we're looking for now.
And radiology techs.
Yeah, the X-ray techs, yep. And then, just working on getting our maintenance shed done, hoping for a November timeframe for, that, and working with insurance to get, our past shed paid for has been a delight, so. Any questions for me looking through the board packet at all?
Numbers look consistent.
They are consistent. We're blessed from that standpoint, that's for sure.
As long as you stay above 4%.
Yes. So Senior Life Solutions is our senior mental health program, and that is up and running and at full force. I just can't tell you how positively that has impacted the lives of individuals within our community already. So we're full and have a waiting list. That's a good problem to have. A great problem to have for a new program here in our community. So that augments the services, the mental health services that we have already in the clinic through Dr. Mia Hagerty-Roach, as well as Peter Jorgensen, our mental health nurse practitioner. So that's a really good thing. Also DME, durable medical equipment. That, we have a soft opening this week, and what that means is we can do cash and carry. We're not yet approved or available, able to bill third-party payers, but that'll be coming very, very soon. We're expecting a survey anytime. So that has to be surveyed by the Joint Commission, and then they'll be ready to go, full force. What questions do you have of us?
About the same inventory as what they had downtown.
I would say similar inventory. I'm not familiar enough to know exactly what was downtown toward the end. We're definitely gonna have breast pumps for the new moms. We'll have the respiratory equipment that patients use overnight, their CPAPs for sleep. And we have a whole array of crutches, walkers, bandages, wound care products, incontinence products, catheters, lots of stuff. And we can get anything else that we need by next day delivery.
I hope I never see that place.
I hope I don't need that place, but I don't mind looking at it because it is kind of fun to see all the product we have.
And that's open now, or?
It's a soft opening now, which means cash and carry, so we can sell services for cash and check.
Okay.
We're not yet, we don't have the credit card machine yet, and we can't bill third-party insurances yet, but we'll be able to very soon. We're expecting a survey basically any day by the Joint Commission, so we have to be surveyed to.
Where's that located?
It's on the first floor of the hospital, so it's in our old medical records department.
Okay.
When you walk in the main door of the hospital, you can just ask for directions, but it's literally on the way to the cafeteria.
Okay.
So, great service.
You can almost get lost going in that door though.
You almost can, there's a lot of directions to go, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds
Anything?
good.
If not, thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing well, how are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Monthly update from the secondary road foreman. Road still there?
Yeah,
They're still there. We're up for shade, but they're there.
need some rain, but that's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do for them yet.
Hopefully we get a fair amount before fall here, before going into winter, so we can get things smoothed up, shaped up, but
Oh, they're not terrible, it's just you got loose gravel all over.
Yeah.
a few rumble strips here and there, and then
Monroe's getting grassy and stuff, and nothing you can do for you yet. Yeah.
Shoulders of roads, they blacktops, they're pretty decent all over.
yeah, we've done a fair amount of putting new rock on several miles, so that's
Trying to finish up what we got
this
planned and get up rock ahead of it and then go after that.
I would say they've done more shouldering this year than,
week, years past.
I
Yeah,
mean, been able to complete more shouldering
Yeah.
than what we have
yeah.
for a long time.
It's working out well.
gearing up for the dreaded, winter season?
Slowly, we got bits and stuff delivered to all the shops here 2-3 weeks ago, and, yeah. Not looking forward to it, but we know it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the most fun time of the year?
Used to be.
look out the window, it ain't so bad.
I heard north of the full.
I took about 12 bags out the other day and went across some of them, some of them are deep enough that you can put stuff in, some of them they're just gonna be rough, there's nothing, you
It's
can't fix them, yeah.
2 inches that leaves.
You gotta have that or more to get the mix to stay in.
Then it just blows out.
Otherwise it, yeah, it won't stick, so. We're not the only county, there's a lot of counties that got rough roads, you know.
Well, state highway even the interstate's got the same thing.
Do you have any idea what caused it all?
I have no idea. Rotten, tar.
Yeah,
I know, cause it's all over, yeah, you know, just ain't one area, it's all over.
Is there regulations on the tar when it comes out for blacktops?
Oh, yeah, everything's certified and tested and, so.
It appears that we've had more issues lately than we had before.
Last winter, for whatever reason, there was, yeah, I noticed it more last winter, after last winter.
So, you know, we did a lot more scraping of the roads for the ice last year, I don't know if that,
Yeah.
I'm sure
There's
that's
some
some things to do with
combination
it.
of the
Yeah, freeze and thaw.
freeze thaw, salt, sand. Mechanical.
Any other questions? Hey, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Morning.
Morning.
We are up to transfers made by the auditor. Everybody had a chance to look at them. Any questions for the auditor?
Not
Let the
much
record show that we acknowledge it.
yet. Taxes haven't really started coming in yet, haven't, so it'll be a lot bigger this next month.
Yeah. Discussion on door access controls.
So I'll have,
Derek come in?
Derek
Do you have another agenda item?
we could go to sign placement. Some other people he's waiting for aren't gonna be here till 8:30, so if we could skip over and come back, that'd be
Sure.
great. Okay.
We'll skip over it, we'll come back. We'll call the engineer. Willie, what do you have on the doors?
He's
I'm here for that when we're skipping over.
I guess 8:30.
Okay.
Thank you, Will.
Sure.
Thanks, Willie.
He's about 4 blocks away, if you wanna still skip.
We'll skip.
Alright.
Probably not down to his office yet.
He did not answer.
So Lisa,
102.
Hey, it's Kyle. Is Doug down into the office yet? We are going to skip the door access controls on the agenda so he can come back up whenever he's ready. Perfect, thanks.
Should be done before 9 o'clock.
No?
I'll go, you know. probably, we don't want NAF to get spoiled over there.
No,
We probably
drag
should,
at least another hour.
yeah, should drag it out a ways.
He puts all this on, we gotta make him, at least wear it for an hour.
With drive time, you probably already have that.
That's true. 45 minutes on the road.
So the vacation was good, you're just gonna do it again, or?
I'll go on vacation again. I don't know if last week was so much vacation, but it was a trip. We'll be going to Texas sometime this winter to visit my wife's sister.
That'll be fun.
A few days.
It's a whole nother state.
Yeah. Houston.
What is door to magistrate will be mag locked? Do you know what that means?
Yeah, so he explained the difference to me because I had the same questions. He'll explain it, it's like the plate, like a plate in there. The mag lock is like a steel plate or something, if I understand it right.
So it's more secure? Okay,
So part of the amounts that you're looking at are gonna be for new doors to replace the glass doors, because it doesn't do any good to have,
Yeah.
easy access key fob if you have a glass door.
Correct, yeah. Fire extinguisher becomes an easy access key fob.
That's right.
That's the case.
That's right.
well, a few dollars here and there add up to quite a bit.
Yeah. Was it budgeted for that amount?
I wanted to talk to you about using the LATCF funds, because we have $100,000 to use, and I passed that along to Todd, and Todd said he also thought that would be a good use of it, except when using those dollars, we have to make sure that, and I printed it out for Derek to look at, that if it's any kind of infrastructure, it has to be, produced in American by American companies.
Yep.
So I gave that copy to Derek for him to double check on that. And so I was gonna mention that too, is that those LATCF funds are sitting there for use, plus 10,000, the election building, I have $10,000 for a security grant. So that'll pay for that, and then $2,000 for an ICAP grant, so $12,000, will pay, we have another $12,000 sitting there to use for this also.
By the way, like your haircut.
Thank you very much.
What about cover the door with the glass?
Yeah, and then there is, up on the third floor, I don't know how often you've been there, but across from the clerk's counter, when you go into the judge's offices, there's two windows right there that are next to the door, so they'd have to look at, doing something to make sure that that glass can't be broken into, so, I think that might be part of the code too, I'm not sure, Will would be able to answer that.
It also includes IT room in the basement. Yeah,
Cause I'm sure that's where the hub would be, right?
Yeah, probably.
quantity, what's 3 doors on the election center? We'll
Well,
get it.
I wanna do the outside one, so that when we give keys out to anybody that's renting that facility, it can be tracked. Who
Okay.
and when, and, you'll be able to know, we'll be able to program each fob, so you can only enter it from this time to this time on the paper, have it rented, so we won't be able to access it after that time. And then on the south side of the building, the door that goes right into the pull-up room, that will have a key fob entrance on it. And then in the hallway, to the, office where we submit, where we compile all of our information and send it to the Secretary of State. Then that will have a key fob access.
What about anything to the courthouse in general, because,
Front doors, I think, I
The
don't
front
know if
doors.
it's both of them or just one, I can't remember, but yes, there are
okay,
on there for that.
3 outside doors.
Yeah.
So that'd be front, back,
This
and
west
side.
side, I believe, yeah.
Maybe we didn't need to skip. We just get the thing.
We'll be able to answer a lot of the technical stuff that I can't answer.
Yeah.
And
This is the guy from Grettinger coming down,
I'm not sure who that guy is. But, we are doing key fob.
Good morning again.
Marner?
We are up to the placement of the sign on P40 and A21. Kyle, your name's on it.
Yeah, I guess I was up in that area recently and I hadn't seen anything done. Do you have any update for us in regards to?
I do not.
Okay, well, I talked to Adam recently. He would like a sign and, I guess I feel it's necessary, or I feel it's valuable to put one there. When you look at the study that was done, there's, for the design stopping distance, it was 495 feet at 55 mile an hour, and I think 5 feet for a margin of error is pretty small, so I would make a motion to direct the engineer to install a child at play sign near this acreage, that we've discussed within 30 days.
I would need a second to that motion. Again, I'll call for a second. If I don't get a second, the motion will die for lack of a second.
I'll second the motion.
I have a second by Nat. Discussion.
Is this something that, well, obviously you just said this is something that the property owner
Family.
wanting, but, question first. I know you were going to be in conversations with the school district. I didn't know if you had been able to reach out to them or,
I have.
and did they have any thoughts as far as if they were willing to supply a sign or work with you on that or anything, or?
The Director of Transportation, North Kossuth, told me that he's never had any, requests from the property owners or from the bus drivers that felt that that was a dangerous situation.
Okay, thanks very much. Have you spoken with the property owner though?
I have.
Okay. And they're requesting it from the county then, or?
They did not request it. When I spoke with them, I made the initiative of speaking with the property owner, and they did not.
They
That's,
did not request a sign, or?
My understanding is there was communication between a member of the public and a member of the Board of Supervisors.
But they,
When I spoke with the landowner, that person was not completely aware of everything that was even going on. So he and I had communication.
That landowner specifically told me that he offered to pay for the sign, and you still said no.
I think there's gotta be justification for any sign that's put up. The landowner talked to me, and there is a intersection, they live on the corner of an intersection, and admitted that stop signs for north and southbound traffic, he sees traffic running those signs. That bothers me, cause that tells you that traffic operators are not even obeying traffic laws in that area, or in Kossuth County, the state of Iowa, whatever you wanna talk about. So, my point is, we put up a sign, it's just another sign for drivers to ignore. You gotta have justification. And if drivers aren't stopping at stop signs, what's gonna make them look at a warning sign?
well, there's always gonna be people who disobey the law, and I guess we can't control that, and I mean, it's kind of like, there are kids who come out of the school system that aren't educated, but that doesn't mean the school doesn't produce results. I mean, signs they still produce results, I mean, they're there for a reason, obviously a stop sign, most people will stop at the stop sign, but there will be people who don't. I mean, that 5 mile an hour is a pretty slim margin, and if he's willing to pay for it.
5 feet, not 5 miles.
Or excuse me, 5 feet, if he's willing to pay for it, could be, that'd be kind of a nice public to private partnership there.
So
If we would pursue that.
My question then, anytime anybody would want any kind of a sign, if they would pay for it, are we going to just put it up? I mean, are we going to start providing that type of a service, and then are we going to, when it happens to get knocked over or needs to be removed, are we going to continue to do that? We could be opening a Pandora's box by doing that.
I don't feel that was the point of my comment, that he said he was willing to pay for it. The point of my comment in saying that is that he wouldn't offer to pay for it if he didn't want a sign.
We are providing a service.
No, Carter said if he's willing to pay for it, why not just put it up? And that's why I replied, we may be opening a Pandora's box by.
And that probably wasn't the right way to say that either, yep, and like I said, if he's willing to pay for it, he sees justification for it as a member of the public. I mean, I think there's cause for one there, I mean, we have them in Sexton.
What is the cause?
I'm saying.
What is the justification? That's what we're
justification-
getting to.
Right, the justification being that the house is right next to the road and the kids are playing, and it's a hard place to see, and I've had neighbors reach out to me up there that encourage, us to do something, and I feel the public is desiring this. It's just
It's a difficult situation,
It is.
but again, you've gotta look at justification, and that's what I will say.
so I guess Matt.
In any
what does the board
decision
think
that's
is
made, you
justified?
gotta have justification.
Would it be-
The person would come into the boardroom and make the request instead of he said, she said, that nothing to go on. And I think something like this, they should come into the boardroom and
So someone who works all day long while we have meetings is supposed to take time off work to drive down here to ask for a sign that's gonna cost less than it's gonna cost them to get off of work.
And that's our job.
That's
to represent it.
ridiculous.
That's why we're elected to be
You
here.
know, then they should, I mean, I had nothing to go on, they never contacted me, nobody's ever said anything to me about it. Hearing two different stories here, so.
Would it be easier just put a stop sign up and have a four-way stop sign there? I'm just,
The
That is
intersection.
that is not justified at all, the four-way stop. That, I guess I would not justify that either, so.
Sounds to me like we need to have the sheriff's department sit up there and watch with people on the stop signs.
Well, that's a difficult situation also, because law enforcement, they have a lot of work. In fact, I was just visiting with a county engineer yesterday, and, a town under 500 people would like stop signs put up in their town. The reason they want stop signs is to slow traffic down. Well, a stop sign is meant for traffic to stop. The speed limit in the town is 25 miles per hour. A law enforcement officer, when he is at that town, the traffic travels 25 miles per hour. When the law enforcement's not there, they don't. Now, law enforcement, I know our law enforcement, we don't have that many deputies and I know a lot of our deputies are out doing other law enforcement related activities. So the public can make a statement that says something to the effect that we need more law enforcement, but they don't like it when they have to pay for new law enforcement. So, you know, I visited with previous sheriffs about different situations. I can certainly, and I visited with Roger about different situations and had cooperation, and I can make some things there, talk to him about that, but we're still talking about a landowner, board member, and the placement of a warning sign.
seeing no further discussion, I'll call for a question and do for a roll call vote.
Class,
I'm gonna say no.
Nath,
Yes.
Wactor,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Jerks.
No. Motion carried 3-1.
May I ask, for an interpretation of the law on this? I believe there has to be an engineer's report in order to,
You did a study already.
I think that the engineer's report would have to show that the sign is warranted. If it's possible, may I ask for an opinion of our county engineer on this?
Engineer
Or
or
excuse me, county attorney.
Yes.
That's fine.
so are we gonna double check every single sign for legal compliance in this county?
New signs, absolutely. When we put in new signs, we make sure that it is done correctly. This is the first time in my career that a Kossuth County Board of Supervisors has directed a county engineer to do something that the engineer said was not justified. And together, the Board of Supervisors and the county engineer have to work together. And I don't know, I mean, what is next? I mean, is the county engineer needed? I believe the code does say that there is supposed to be a county engineer. The county shall hire a county engineer to do the work, and the county engineer's responsibilities are pretty much spelled out in the code of the Board of Supervisors. Work for secondary roads are spelled out and have been tested. So I think it's important. I think we got a situation here where the board, I don't know where the limitations are.
We good to get an opinion?
We have some construction in the right of way.
Tammy, would you please provide me that motion?
Sure.
After the meeting?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes. There are two permits. One of them was just given to our office at 3:30, around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. And the newest location map may not be in your folder or may already be opened by somebody and we could not replace it. We got a request from Northwest Communications Cooperative. They are working south of Whittemore on B44. They are putting in a new communication cable, hooking up from a pedestal on Highway 15 and hooking up a pedestal on 20th Avenue. This work would be all in road right away, and I'd recommend that the board would approve of this request.
So moved.
So moved by Nat. Do I have a second? I'll second it. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous.
May I ask who seconded, excuse me?
I did.
Thank you. And then the other request that came in late yesterday afternoon, this is south of Wesley. It sounds like a building site in Grove is being taken down at 2007 240 Avenue. And they are removing electrical service to that building site. Very little work in the road right away, but just a little bit. I would recommend that the board would approve of this request as well.
So moved.
Motion by Wactor, second by Nat. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. We're up to discussion with the engineer and zoning administrator.
Okay. Construction projects are moving along. The resurfacing projects that the asphalt was completed on are being shouldered this week. Hopefully they will be able to get all that completed this week, and then traffic marking will be worked on, and then the roads will be open. The project south of Titanca, the deck is being formed. Once they have the deck formed, they'll pour concrete. Then they'll have barrier rail to construct and guardrail, and then that road would be ready to be open. The Algona Airport is pushing a start date back to September 18th. So their project is supposed to be starting next week, which will end up closing that 100 Avenue. The project south of Fenton by the DOT Pavement's been placed, it's curing, it's been shouldered. I think all that needs to be done is a profilometer needs to be going over it and get smoothness that they need. So that should be opened soon. We got some open positions and doing some interviews this week. Operators are working 5 8-hour days now, starting yesterday. I guess, transfer station, I did interview our only applicant for that position, and I would like to hire Blake Stevens. He was the only person that applied for the manager position. I'd like to hire him. On August 8th, I had an item on the agenda to appoint Blake, and it was tabled. Again, on August 15th, there was discussion, and there was a motion to table. It did not pass. So I'm asking the board what I should be doing.
If we don't need a motion, or do we need a motion or do we not?
It's his employee.
Yep, I would say go ahead and appoint him.
Okay, thank you.
Have we ever
We-
appointed a manager of the landfill and transfer station without action by the board?
I think on an annual basis, the transfer station manager is appointed, and in the past, the board has acted on a recommendation and appointed them.
I would say with that, it should be on next week's agenda to take action.
Okay, I would like to set up interviews for another person, another employee at the transfer station. If we advance Blake to manager, Blake's position operator will become open. And I'd like to get some interviews set up for that. We can delay it another week. I will let you know, our road department has been covering for the transfer station since August 7th. And the reason that is because on August 8th, the board did not appoint a manager. And we have some people, the road department operators, that they wanna work on the roads. So I would say that. Who is gonna be putting this on the agenda?
You've put it on previously, right?
I did, it was tabled on August 8th by the board. I put it on August 8th, it was tabled. On August 15th, there was a motion, I think there was 4 board members. The vote was 2-2. The motion, I believe, was to table it, and it did not pass.
Well, it was tabled, then you don't need to put it back on, it means it's still on. Tabling doesn't take it off the agenda.
I think in order to vote, you'd still have to have it on the agenda,
Do you need an agenda item, Tammy?
Yes.
Well, I don't think if it was tabled, that means it's still on the agenda.
I think we'd have to.
The tabling motion failed for,
Yeah,
Yes, it
the
was.
15th, there was a failure to
it
table.
was a failed motion.
I will put it on the agenda.
Thank you, Doug.
That's all that I have. Well, excuse me, there's one more thing. We are doing bridge inspections, and there is a bridge to the north of Sexton, approximately 4.5 miles. and it was originally constructed in 1960. It was widened in 1991. In 2016, our consultant that does bridge inspection recommended posting that at 27-ton single vehicle and then a 40-40 for combination. And a one truck series, meaning one truck could go over that, which really reduced it to legal loads, as long as one truck was going over it at a time. We just got some communication from our consultant due to deterioration in those original pile that were 1960. The capacity has been reduced greatly, and they would like to, they recommend, posting to be 15-ton 2020 with that one truck series. If we were to advance that construction project, it is in our fiscal year 2027 program. If we were to advance that so that we could let it next spring, which our office could do, the consultant would not be, would change his recommendation, keep it the way it is right now. But if we're gonna wait till 2027, he recommends that the posting be lowered. So the problem is that we all of a sudden would eliminate other bridges for this as a priority. And I guess I was kind of curious what the board believes should be done there.
What's the traffic like on that bridge?
133 vehicles per day was the 2021 traffic count.
Quite a bit of truck traffic on that road. It's the only blacktop
It's a
in the
blacktop
area.
that brings in.
I would recommend moving it forward and
Try to advance it.
advance it.
What would we be comparing to, or what would be falling behind? if
Well,
that moves
we got
forward?
some different options. We had planned on doing two timber bridges down south of Wesley, between Laverne and Wesley, by George Gunter's and Dana Arndorfer's. We could cancel that. There's a bridge up north of Lone Rock, a culvert project up north of Lone Rock that we could talk about. There's some bridges down by Mike Colehouse's that are on some gravel roads. We have bridges, so
Most of those bridges are all on gravel roads, so.
gravel roads and timber
Right.
is what they are. Structures which we've had quite a bit of over the years, maintenance work due to loadings. So we do have some projects that we could definitely eliminate or delay. Not eliminate, that was a poor word. So,
Anything else for Doug? If not, thank you very much.
you
Doug.
bet, thank you.
I do, just before he leaves. What am I doing as far as I know, a county attorney opinion was requested, on
I was
what?
going to write a letter to you.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, so I just wanted to clarify on what it was, because it's obviously something that's before the board, so I was hoping to at least have some idea.
My understanding of the code, and I'll get you the chapter, section, there is installation of regulatory and warning signs require an engineer's report and then action by the board of supervisors.
So
And
when,
I made a report, said that the sign was not justified, and the board took action to direct me to install it.
okay. Cause I just came in the last part of that. I had no idea what the discussion's all about, so a
That's
little
fine.
context, a little context.
I was planning to, yeah, thank you.
I just wasn't clear at the conclusion whether or not that was gonna be done or not, so.
We are back to the doors.
We going up? Yeah. So you'll recall, I believe it was, October of November of last year, Judge Sandy was kind of the one, judge of the district who's been, delegated with the administrative duties of, the Judicial District 3A, which is where we are. We talked about the lack of security on the floor, the court floor, up top floor of the building. And, you know, I think there was at least a consensus. I don't remember if there was actually, actually, I think there was a motion to approve the looking into or the investigation as to what it would cost and what would need to be done. I think there was a report, we went up there after that meeting and looked around and made recommendations. We are one of the few, I believe, don't quote me, but I believe it was either 3 or 4 counties in the judicial district that have basically no security system whatsoever on the court floor. And as you know, most of the time in court actions, emotions run high, and that's when a potential problem could arise. So simple fixes, simple barriers could provide a wealth of security, a wealth of safety. So I talked to Derek, and he showed me some figures that he found out about what it would cost to install those simple types of security fixes. And so I'll turn it over to Derek for that.
Yep, and then part of that discussion too was getting a deputy on the 3rd floor for 3 days a week, so that was approved at that time too.
Yes, that was, and I believe there is one set to go as soon as we get these in, these things in place.
Yep, so we're setting up office upstairs for that deputy, so they're able to work up there too during downtime. But yeah, we were able to put together pricing. The total project is about $78,000. That includes 23 doors, all the installation fees, and some bulletproof glass in a couple spots upstairs, replacing a door that has glass that can't be replaced with bulletproof glass. I'm looking for a motion to approve that today. It is a whole project. It does include the server rooms, both at the LEC and downstairs as part of that project as well. Because we do have hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment in those rooms, we'd like to have some security. We've also got, I think, 4 doors over at the election building. Same thing there. We have significant exposure there to try and reduce some of that risk. So on the financial side, we do have $10,000 in election funds that Tammy applied for and got that can be used for this project. We also have, through our insurance carrier ICAP, we get $1,000 every year for each agency for security upgrades. So we would get $1,000 for the county, $1,000 for the 911 agency, and put that towards this project as well. So after the grants, we're looking at about $67,000 for the entire project. So we're looking for approval of that.
Well, I did pass this through to Todd. We have the LATCF funds. We have $100,000. I know we talked before about possibly using that money for this. I did run it by Todd and had him look some things over. He did want me to take another look at section 2EB, which talks about buying domestically according to the LATCF guidance. So I have given that to Derek. I don't know if he's had a chance to look at it.
We're good. One of the companies for the lock manufacturers out of Arizona, the other one's out of Connecticut, both made in America. The Connecticut company is a veteran-owned company, so.
So we should be
I think
good.
for the project standpoint, we're good.
So all we would have to do is, I don't remember if we budgeted any money in LATCF funds this year. We could, if you guys approved of this today, we could add that to the budget amendment that's in the works, so that money would be available.
Did we get any other
Yes,
prices?
we have two other quotes. One was pretty close in price, included a different vendor for, a subcontractor for some of the, wiring. Algona Glass was the contractor on part of that project. And then we had another third quote that was significantly more expensive and the annual fees were significantly more. So, if you guys want to see copies of those, I can surely provide those. So this seemed to be the most cost effective of the proposals we looked at. So.
Willie is gonna involve you some,
Involve me?
yeah.
Well, I guess.
You got any comments on it, cause we don't,
I've been there the whole time. It's,
okay,
the contractor do most of the work. I would be just more on site if they needed something.
Yeah, Will's been involved in this and
The biggest one's gonna be the court board, trying to make that look nice when we're done. Because it has just a little square window in it that's regular glass, and we're putting a piece of bullet resistant glass in it. So that'd be the tough one.
We did take a look at all the doors upstairs to make sure that we were putting secure systems and secure doors. So that's part of the cost too, is making sure that we're covering all of our bases, and I think
they're all
Derek's
solid core doors.
done a good job with that, yeah.
Will's.
Solid doors, just like what we have.
Right.
The other problem is gonna be trying to match that color, but
They give a time frame on completion.
All of this equipment, well, let me rephrase that. The electronic side of the equipment is only a few weeks out. The door and glass side is gonna be significantly longer. They're gonna try and do all the doors that they can prior to that other piece, being done, so it'll be like a two-part project, to make that happen, so, if you approve it, so.
Well, I make a motion to approve it, and then
With the funding.
with the funding being added to the,
The budget amendment,
yes, thank you. Drawing blank there.
I have a motion on the floor. Everybody understand the motion, or do you want it repeated? We'll let her get done writing first.
so, motion by Wactor to approve the door access controls from, I'll have to add in the blanks.
It'll be Midwest Technology for a portion of it and American Glass for a portion of it.
And I'll put in the amount,
Yep, 79,000.
okay, with funding from LATCF being added to the budget amendment.
Let me rephrase that, 79,000 for the total project, county portion of about 67,000. If you do 67,500, that'll cover it.
Okay,
Is it clear?
Yep. Okay.
I would entertain a second to that motion. Now? Any discussion on the motion in a second? Seeing none, do a roll call vote, please.
Plath,
Yes.
Nat,
Yes.
Wactor,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Jerks.
Yes. Motion carried unanimous. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
We're not gonna get done before 9 o'clock. Do you wanna start drainage now, or do you wanna take a break? Jack?
Get it done. Tyler's here.
I'll go get mine.
And then there was one.
And then there was one.
So what's your secret for all this weight loss?
A lot of discipline. I don't know where I found it from, but
I didn't even recognize him when he walked
been
in.
pretty clean eating and a lot of, activity, so. Finally doing what I promised I was gonna do when I got a dog, was gonna go be active with that dog. Then earlier this year, I was looking at the two of us just getting fatter, and it was like, well, time to make a change here. I think she's been less happy about it than I have.
Okay, Goshi's and Birdies, is that on 60 that you were out the other day?
Start getting copies of these handed
That's
out.
on which drain is that?
Lateral 28, but it's 63, I wanna say. It's up higher in the system.
It's just further north.
And I know this can be a lot of paper to
Close.
hang on to,
Mile
so
away.
anybody that isn't interested in keeping a copy, I can gather them back up and, get them out. There'll be contractors that want them too, so.
Thank you.
Burning up paper again.
That's what we do.
Almost, I did run into the door.
We have to make them wider?
Maybe just for me.
Maybe we got open both.
We just got done talking about the doors.
It's all right.
Maybe we need to paint them orange so they're
Yeah.
more visible.
Yeah.
I think so, I don't know.
Whatever color you paint them, it doesn't stop them from jumping out and getting
No,
you
that's
sometimes.
true.
That's-
Very true.
That, and a copy of that. And a version of that,
Thank you.
all for the records, and I've got the largest copy here as well.
Okay. She's on the phone, so as soon as she gets off, she'll be.
What's that?
Like,
Yeah, I said,
discussion.
right,
Okay.
I left them there, but
Yep.
we can move them.
That'll work. We'll talk about it.
Right.
How many of you guys are going to West Des Moines tomorrow, or to the Holiday Inn Airport tomorrow?
I will be.
You will be, You will be, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I just wanted to know how many spots to save us, cause Christy and I will be leaving from my place. And,
Sounds good. See you down there. I guess for discussion's sake, we could probably start here before Marge gets in on this, but number 8 for liquidated damages. Tyler and I had talked about this a bit, and I talked to Jim Hudson about it as far as what threshold we could go to or whatever, with this being a project well over $3 million. I don't think $500 a day is enough incentive to be completed on time. And I know one of our secondary road projects, Doug just mentioned how we had $1,000 a day for that, which was much smaller.
This was for the Irvington Bridge.
Yeah. Yep, so, I had asked Jim Hudson about $1,500 a day, and he said there's various numbers, for state DOT projects and all that sort of stuff, but he said at the end of the day, we would have to, if we go to collect liquidated damages, basically the challenge we would potentially get is that we would have to show the actual damage to the district, but if you've got well over $3 million out there, interest alone would be substantial. I mean, if they're not getting done in a timely manner, then if you factor in crop damages and everything else, he said he had no issue with 1,500. We can't set it at 50,000 for the fun of it, but, a reasonable number, he said that he had no issue with that, so I was gonna bring that to the board's attention, so I guess I think it should be higher than $500 a day for a project of this magnitude. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Tyler.
Yeah, all, from my review into it, what I got was liquidated damages can't be set at an unreasonably punitive amount. It can't be excessive, like how threw out an example of 50,000, that you can't have it be just an astronomical dollar amount. It has to fall in line with a reasonable estimate or assumption for damages, and so outside of that, outside of that consideration, whatever the board, as the trustees, feel comfortable with on that, we'll certainly edit in the plans and specifications for when they go out. There is also, at project closeout, there's the opportunity for the, in addition to, or if it's going to be larger, the factor for actually calculating the actual damages. Not that I wanna like harp on it or bring it back up, but very similar to what we did on 4, the closeout on 4, where there were actual damages assessed back to the contractor, so.
But if we don't have it up front in the plans and specs, then collecting that from the contractor could be more complicated.
It becomes more of a calculation that's required, yes.
How many acres does this whole project cover?
Here I am.
It's a decent sized district.
Yeah.
Shoot. Off the top of my head, I have to apologize, I don't remember.
See, I look at this, it's pretty sizable area.
And I don't think it says anywhere in the.
I mean,
Because when you're talking that many acres, that's a lot of farmland, that's a lot of property.
yeah, and I'm not saying we couldn't go higher, I just wouldn't wanna get too far out there that
Right.
we have to do a lot of math to defend the figure. I think just with the extent of everything getting more expensive, I think it's probably good practice for all of our projects to be moving that dollar figure higher, in accordance with the economy of today. Cause it's been $500 a day for decades, but, I mean, we could go higher, but I think 1,500's fairly easy to defend, in my opinion, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, whenever anybody's ready, I can.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Yeah, perfect, alright. Here for the filing of the final plans and specifications for Drainage District 60 sub 4. The facility improvement project. At the public hearing, there was an approved route forward to go to the final plans and specifications with the alternate 1 of the 1/2 inch drainage coefficient and an alternate 2 of the 3/4 inch drainage coefficient. These plans and specifications have both of those alternates in them. They have the items for such, as well as all of the divisions. Division 1 being the replacement of 20,940 lineal feet of the main tile at both of those, alternate 1 again being the 1/2 inch drainage coefficient and alternate 2 being the 3/4 inch drainage coefficient, and all of the sizes laid out there in the description as such, as well as divisions 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are all county road crossings that the secondary roads department would be responsible for. The secondary roads department has seen these plans, they've reviewed them, made changes as they'd like to see fit, and we are currently in compliance with their recommendations and requirements. Bidders will be required to complete all divisions and alternates as part of their bid. The notice to bidders will need to be published once a week for 2 consecutive weeks prior to the bid opening. As well, we post the plans and specs electronically on Quest CDN, and we send out notifications to contractors on a list that we have that are interested and have done this work in the past. Preliminarily, we've set for consideration between Marge and I working on a schedule. Tuesday, October 3rd at 10 a.m. for the bid opening, with bid consideration being the following week, October 10th. Just giving us time to make sure everybody's math checks and the values are right. There's a lot going into this, a lot of items. I hate to rush on a day and not have those values right. For the estimated project costs, the Division 1, these are the first 2 Division 1s, the 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch, alternates 1 and 2 are essentially the estimates for what the assessable project cost would be, with alternate 1 being $3,250,000 and alternate 2 being $3,900,000. The different divisions for the road crossings, Division 2, alternate 1 of $20,000, Division 2, alternate 2 of $21,000, Division 3, alternate 1 being $94,000, Division 3, alternate 2 being $100,000. The reason those are larger values is that is the paved road where there would be a boring installation of a steel pipe as opposed to an open cut of concrete. Division 4, alternate 1 of $11,500, Division 4, alternate 2 of $13,000, Division 5, alternate 1 of $14,500, and Division 5, alternate 2 of $16,000. For total estimates on the half-inch drainage coefficient, again, these aren't the accessible, the first numbers will be the total district accessible costs, but the total alternate 1 of $3,390,000 and the total alternate 2 of $4,050,000. As part of the bids, a security will be required in the to the amount of 5% of the bid. Sales tax districts, drainage districts are exempt from sales tax. Those exempt certificates often come from the auditor's office. Completion date of the work we have set as December 1st of 2024. That would give what was left of this fall as well as 1 full year worth of construction. I feel that that is more than appropriate, even though the project is rather large. We've already had a little bit of discussion on liquidated damages. We have set those just at what they had been previously at $500 a day. However, that can certainly be altered to a larger amount. Number of $1,500 a day was thrown out. That can be edited into the plans and specifications before they go up after the approval.
I guess on that, does anyone have any thoughts or opinions in regard to liquidated damages?
We've hardly ever used it.
That's
fine.
And hopefully we don't have to, but I think it'd be
But even
prudent.
in the name of the fact that it's been the same number for decades, I mean, there's no other number that's been the same thing, you know?
Yep.
So, I mean, it makes sense to raise it at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think to that point of never having to use it, I think it is valuable setting it at an amount that it reminds people that they don't want to have to go there.
Encouraging to not
It's-
use it.
Right.
Insurance for the county basically saying that we want them to complete the project.
And I think that encourages a fair bidding environment, so everyone knows that this is the expectation, and you move forward on the same playing field, so.
I would agree with setting it at 1,500.
Do you wanna do that in the list of motions?
Yeah, I think as it gets, when there's a motion for the acceptance,
Incorporate that.
incorporate that in.
Right.
And we'll make the changes there. On a project of this magnitude, we like to send letters to the landowners on whom the work is gonna be done, just letting them know, especially with one that there's gonna be no way around, we're gonna have to go through, and work through ground that's gonna have crop on it. There's gonna be some pretty substantial crop damages through those areas, so we like to notify those landowners as well.
Did you know how many acres off your head?
Of crop damage?
No, in the district.
In the district that I was looking here, I have to apologize, I don't know off the top of my head what
It's
that.
gonna be sizable assessment.
Yeah, I think,
You have an
I don't
idea?
know, I don't have my report with me, I had an estimate per acre, I thought it was, between 15 and 18.
I think the half inch was like 1,500, I think
1,500 an acre.
3/4 was like 17 something.
Yeah, I was gonna go between $1,500 and $1,800 an acre
So
on
if you
assessment.
did, let's say 4 million divided by 1,800 is like 2,200. I think it's low 2,000s for
That
acres.
sounds about right.
I know we've talked over the number before, but yeah, I don't have it exact. But it's a sizable district.
There'll be a performance bond and a 1-year maintenance bond we're required as part of the project. And that gets us to 11, 12, and 13. Warrants will be used, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Anticipated number of installment payments, I would imagine 20. And the interest rate that has been.
Oh, it's 6%, 6 and 7 in banks now, so
It's
Okay.
5%.
we have been using 5, but we're gonna have to raise it.
Okay, so and that can be set, I guess I don't know what the warrants on the project so far have been, but.
Five.
Okay, so it'll be at 5 on this, so. All right. With that, are there any questions?
For those, the last three, do you need motions separate to each of them, or encompass that?
I think just in encompass of,
You do all of them together.
I think with everything together, it's clear enough that it's an acceptance of the final plans and specifications, with a alternate to the liquidated damages going from $500 to $1,500 a day, using warrants with an installment over 20 years at 5% is what would be needed.
Tammy, do you have a list of those changes written down? Okay.
And then, the opening and consideration,
And
October
that's
3rd and October 10th.
October 3rd and 10th.
3rd and 10th, yep, opening and.
You want that a separate motion for setting date and time?
I think right, I think those two should be separate from the first.
I would make a motion to, accept the report and the final plans for drain 60 sub 4 with the changes we discussed.
Which would be 1,500 used warrants, 20-year payment and 5%.
Correct, those 4 items.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Second by Wactor. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Then your second motion,
I'd make a motion to set the date and time for bid letting to October 3rd at 10 AM here in the boardroom, and considering bids October 10th at 10 AM also in the boardroom.
do I have a second to that motion?
You said open bids,
It's open,
open bids at October 10th.
Open bids October 3rd and consider them the 10th.
Okay.
except on October 10th
Okay.
would probably be the right word.
Well, considering would be,
I hope we accept them, I hope we get good bids, and I hope they come in and they get accepted,
yep.
we'll see.
Do I have a second to his motion? For the dates, October 3rd and October 10th? By Nat, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Anything else, Tyler?
That's it for me, I'm already packing up. I will say, I have, gotten quite a bit of interest on that project already, just from rumors that contractors and pipe manufacturers have heard, so.
They don't have any word.
That's what I'm hearing,
So
so
we should have
it's,
really good hit.
that's the hope, wanna, fingers crossed with a wrap on some wood, but, yeah, I've heard from contractors, about half a dozen contractors and pipe manufacturers, so. Appreciate it, thanks all.
We can have some committee reports while Jack is gone.
Probably should wait,
Think so?
yeah,
Wait for what?
till Jack gets back.
Oh, sorry.
We got a report on Matt's vacation. Did you take your wife along?
Yes, so.
Is everything else for
I don't-
drainage?
Got anything else for Mark?
Don't think so.
Marge, what is the, after last week, and, you know, I talked to you on the phone briefly, but what's the timeline look like for Jacobs and Westergaard
They were gonna
getting
hope
things done
to
for,
get out and look at stuff
Yep.
and start doing some information and get back to us.
okay,
So
Sorry.
they were ready to hit the ground running.
okay,
See,
sounds good.
okay.
Yeah, this is done last month, let's make it go back to.
Alright, thanks, Marge.
Thank you, Marge.
What date you want?
Put 8:15 on this one.
Sorry, go.
This is the Board of Health, so we have to sign in their agreement.
Thanks, Jack. You got any board reports, Jack?
No, I do not.
Just drainage stuff last week, we was doing some landowners and stuff on the PHA one. I think you talked to Stephen Schley. I talked to him too.
Talked to a couple of them on PK1.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want it done in a hurry and
Yes, they do. And,
they don't wanna pay anything.
right.
Those two things I got.
Yep, and, yeah. But, also, I had no meetings last week, but I did get a call, or I called, had a request from Eric Arndorfer, Wesley, to call me, before the meeting this morning, and he wanted thoughts shared with the board and that, and I said, okay, I will share them. But, in light of what happened in the Dakotas with the pipeline and stuff, and being denied in counties that passed ordinances, he, just wanted to express his disappointment in the board for not moving forward with something. And wondering if we would ever consider, even a revised ordinance from what we had or not. So I told him I would share that, and
The problem is North Dakota and South Dakota have different laws than Iowa, and
I
in
realize
Iowa,
that.
it's been ruled that we don't have authority like they do in North Dakota and South Dakota.
I realize that, but
Yep.
some, you know, they would like to move forward anyway, you know, so that's all I'm just sharing.
Why do something that's not gonna hold water is,
Do you know, is there anything that we can do as a board to, I guess, in light of everything happening, that we can do to be proactive and,
I
in
think
that
we have
situation?
been, we have Whipple working on it.
Yeah,
and
and we're
last night
and we're in the intervention,
I talked to
so,
about 3 other supervisors at the NICOG meeting, and
yep,
they're all doing the same thing that we're doing.
yep,
So to do anything further,
And,
what is it, that's staying within the laws that we have in Iowa?
you know, and a lot of folks say, well, we're leaving Shelby County out to dry, you know, as they're alone, and they're not. And I visited with Shelby County numerous times and their chairman, and we're on the same page about things, so it's, yeah.
Bremer County, I've never heard anything.
There's never been a result out of Bremer County yet, so, and who knows when that would happen.
Yeah.
Sure, at this point, they're just waiting for the IUB.
And that's getting closer.
That is getting awful close. I've listened to a few different things from down there. You can definitely tell that Summit views the hearings as more of a formality than an actual discussion. Yeah. But anyway, that's all I have.
Yeah, I've pretty much heard about the same thing from down there. A couple people I've talked to have said they're not pleased with how, Summit's handling some of the questions and things like that, and yeah, like he said, it seems more of like a formality to them than actually addressing issues and stuff, so.
I think the biggest complaint is with how the meeting is being run versus, of course, you expect Summit's comments, but just how it's being moderated, I think is a lot of people's complaint.
No.
No meetings? Kyle?
EMS meeting tonight, looked at the repair request that was put in a few weeks ago here, whatever, by Beetle. I don't know if you wanna talk about that at all or not. Jack came up as well. Long story short, there kinda needs to be some discussion and stuff between the private landowners right now and see where we go from there, whether they want anything done with the county main or not, or the lateral.
We basically, left the two options. It says you guys either have to come up with a lifetime easement, agreement between Beatles and Goshi's, or you're gonna have to put in a request to repair the main.
Mm-hmm.
And, so.
It's very shallow and poor condition, probably has been for a
So
long
it's really
time.
in their, it's in their hands, whatever they wanna do. They put a repair request in, well, then we'll have to put, work on the main. But if they don't, then they need to go to their attorney and do a lifetime. And Tad, Reitzel told, he told Brad, he says, you're a lot better off now than you were before. And there's nobody else on that main. Nobody else needs it, it's not being used by anybody else.
That end of the main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just a matter of waiting to see what the landowners, do. I guess. So it went pretty well, I think. There's a little animosity there off and on, but it turned out okay.
Anything else, Kyle?
I don't think so.
I had an ICOG meeting last night. It was the end of the year. We had the end of the year report. They drove 678,000 miles last year, delivering people from one place to another. They have 150 drivers and support staff. They approved 1,000 improvements to homes, anywhere from bathrooms to water heaters to total renovation. They had 20 million in grants that they received last year. They built 50 new homes, did 50 major renovations. Some of them were in Mason City, and they made homes in the top of old businesses that were empty and utilized the room that was up there. Since they started, they did 172 units. That would be housing units at $121 million. And they've spent $9 million in trails, and I think one of them is here in Algona that they did fund. So that was the year-end report. Any questions about NIACOG? Spend a lot of money, that's all that guy.
That's the goal.
Who doesn't?
So we have time with our auditor.
Okay, so, next week, what we have so far on the agenda is the 3rd Judicial District Department of Correctional Services. Marion Hanson has asked to share information with you about community-based corrections, department services and client data for Kossuth County, and to receive any questions or concerns. So she will be here next Tuesday. Then, Kyle, Melissa and I talked to Ehlers and Cooney, with Ann regarding our employee handbook. After Kyle and I were at ISAC, we had concerns of whether we were doing things correctly, so we have sent Ann our draft of the handbook, and they are gonna look at it and then send it back to us. And she suggests we talk to department heads after we get that back, and then go through it. They'll make any recommendations or changes, and then it will come back to the board for approval after that. So that's where we are with that. I'm sure it's gonna take a little bit of time to go through everything, but I think that that'll save time in the long run from them going through it now, and letting us know where we stand with that. Tomorrow, we're gonna be in Des Moines at the Airport Holiday Inn for House File 718. Board of Supervisors has a morning agenda, but they are invited to stay the afternoon with auditors if they would like. It's gonna be a lot of information in a short amount of time, but hopefully we come away with a good understanding of the law, because it's not clearly stated, in my opinion. So I know Department of Management, Carrie Johnson and Ted Johnson are gonna be there. So hopefully they have some good information. I'm sure they do for us, so. And I think that's all I have. And it is being recorded, tomorrow's meeting, so for those of you that aren't able to make it, you will be able to watch it afterwards.
The only thing I heard about it is one person told me that they want less taxes and more service.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't work that way.
Anything else come before the good of Kossuth County? Entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
Not quite by now.
It's all your fault.